Hello, everybody. Hello, what's up? Okay, I think it's a bit dark. This thing here. Okay, wait. All right. So, as I mentioned in the, can you guys hear? Can hear? Can hear? Can. So if you can't, maybe you can put some emoji or something like that. Okay, and because I'm also not sure whether you can hear or not. Can, right? Loud and clear, right? Okay. So what I'll be doing, right? I'll be just doing a few trial questions. So hopefully that give you a bit more confidence for tomorrow. So these questions I just pick randomly. Some of them I feel important. Some maybe like last year already got come out this topic already, but I will still just do lah. Okay, so as I mentioned I pinned my comment there. I will mainly do these two paper punya question, SBP and also Malacca. Okay, you can see it's moving around the screen. Yeah, so SBP and also Malacca. Okay, okay, a bit delay lah my screen there. But anyways, the link for this paper is already in. I put inside the description there. You can just click the Google Drive link. It's there already. If you want to say paper lah. Okay. So I will start off with a Form 4 Chapter 10 question. I'm doing an SBP question, by the way. Okay. Should I wait for some people to come in? I think don't need to wait, right? Okay, can. Now for the comments, right? I won't really go and look at the comments too much. I will just do questions. But if you have any question, maybe after I finish what I'm doing already, then you all can ask us. So maybe like 1 hour from now, I will do like 1 hour of questions. If you got any questions, then after that I'll let you guys ask me lah. So for now, I try not to answer the question first. I'll just do only. Okay, can. Now, so for this question, it's a Form 4 Chapter 10. They are showing blood. Okay, people who have just joined. Hello. Let me just adjust the camera a bit. Okay. Okay. So first, they show us blood from his finger, and then they are asking these two types of blood cells, X and Y, exact. So X and Y, sorry. So X and Y, right, is actually two types. Any idea how long this life will last? Probably I'll do 1 hour until 9:30 like that. So after 9:30, then a bit of Q&A section. You all can ask some questions. Okay, yeah, around 9:30 lah, 1 hour plus a bit lah. Okay, I don't want to make it too long because you all give your time to study a bit on yourself. So these two white blood cells, right, you can see, right, now we have mainly 5 types of white blood cells. The band, okay, and I will call this band likes me. Okay, band likes men also can. So there are 5 white blood cells. So this BEN, right, this are called granulocytes. Means their white blood cell a lot of dots, like a lot of granules. Okay, and the L and M, they are called agranulocytes. Okay, I apologize if my writing a bit ugly, a bit nervous. So agranulocyte means they don't have granule. Means their white blood cell, we say, have clear cytoplasm. So, and another thing about granulocyte is, right, okay, I just write the difference here a bit. So granulocytes will have granular cytoplasm. Means their cytoplasm, a lot of granule, a lot of dots. And their nucleus, right, we will say have lot. L-O-B-E-D, nuclide. Lot means their nucleus, right, like got a few lobes at that one. So the one with 3 lobes is your neutrophil. So this is the most common asked white blood cell. Now for agranulocytes, right, they don't have granule, means their cytoplasm, we call it clear cytoplasm, and their nucleus, right, is like normal nucleus we see. So the one that is completely round like that is your lymphocyte. For monocyte, right, the nucleus got a bit like bend, a bit like that one. Sort of like got M shape like that one. So that's monocyte. So by the way, this question they just ask X and Y. So X is neutrophil, and then the Y is called lymphocyte. That's the most important white blood cell. And state the function of blood cells X. So neutrophil and also your monocyte, right? These two are the most common white blood cells. So M by the way is called mono, M-O-N-O, monocyte. These two, right, they are mainly phagocytes, means they eat germs. So you can say, look, they are phagocytes. Okay, but for this one mark only, right? So you don't, phagocyte actually you write got no point, so you must say, what do? They destroy pathogens or destroy bacteria. What's the process? It's called phagocytosis. So through phagocytosis. All right. Now, if you want to write down, I will like leave a few seconds in it. I won't leave too long. So if it's the answer is too long, you can just screenshot if you want to write it down. Okay, then Mr. Q, they say have low number of cells. Z suggests food that can be taken by Mr. Q to help him. So Z, if you cannot see, is actually the red blood cell, got the biconcave, this shape one, so the donut shape. So this is your red blood cell. Now, some of you will say, teacher, do I have to write erythrocyte or can I write red blood cell? The answer is you actually can write red blood cell. You write erythrocyte also can. But now they say suggest food that can be taken. So red blood cells, right, they are mainly formed from iron. Okay, so what do you need to get iron is green vegetables. Leafy vegetables have a lot of iron. So you can say, look, green leafy vegetables. Or liver, you eat liver because your liver is where you break down red blood cells have a lot of iron inside. So animals punya liver, chicken liver, or whatever animal punya liver. But most people don't eat like organs of animals, right? Yeah. So green leafy vegetables. So why? Which or spinach also can. Spinach is the main vegetable that have a lot of iron. So which is rich in iron because iron is needed for your formation of red blood cells. Iron, the main thing. Okay, people have just joined. Hello, what's up? Okay, let's continue. Next. You want to ask your friends come also can, let more people join. Okay, the next one, not very difficult. They say 7.2a and 7.2b shows the longitudinal section of a human heart. Whereby, okay, the main question here they ask, effect of this cardiomyopathy heart disease to the patient. Now, if you don't know what this disease, they should explain here. They say the heart muscles pump. It's a disease that involves problems with heart muscles. Problems with heart muscles pumping blood throughout the body efficiently. It means they cannot pump blood properly. So if you cannot pump blood properly, blood carries oxygen. So they want you to write the effect. So if you cannot pump blood properly, blood carries oxygen. So number one, you lack of oxygen. So if you lack of oxygen, what will happen? Oxygen gives us energy. So you can say this person will lack of energy, or you say it can feel tired easily because less blood is pumped to your body cells. So which means less oxygen loss. Less oxygen is transported to body cells. So this one 3 marks only, not too difficult. Okay, we'll start a little bit more difficult one. Those easy one I don't want to do already. And also those chapters that I got upload YouTube videos one already. Yeah, that one also I don't have to do too much because anyways got video already, right? You can go watch yourself. So then let me then skip to okay. We have Form 4 Chapter 12 here. Now, this year Form 4 Chapter 12, I feel there's very, very high chance for both essay and structure. Okay, but this one I didn't manage to have time to do a video on it. So yeah, I'll go through a little bit here. So okay, one essay question. This is SBP question number 9, by the way. If you want the soft copy. So explain the functions of K in transmission of nerve impulse. So K is mitochondria. Obviously, mitochondria generates energy. So if you mention the function of K energy, you get 1 mark. But to get full marks, you must mention what's the energy for. So energy is to help this neurotransmitter move across the synapse. So, okay, I think I'll type faster a bit. So number 1, you can say it generates energy. So what's the energy for? It is to help neurotransmitter diffuse across the synapse. So like one. Then, moving on, explain the disease to the transmission impulse if synaptic vesicle effect up to the transmission of impulse if synaptic vesicle decreases. So if there's less synaptic vesicle, obviously less neurotransmitter. So if there's less neurotransmitter, right, basically you maybe cannot send nerve impulse to your effector, you cannot move properly. So you can say you cause poor coordination in response. So that's the thing, you can say less nerve impulse is transmitted. So first, you can state the main point, which is less neurotransmitter is released into the synapse. So it is less neurotransmitter means you less of neurotransmitter released in the synapse, means you transmit less nerve impulse. So maybe you can say less nerve impulse is maybe, let's say, transmitted to your effector. So you can say it causes poor or slow coordination and response. Okay. Yeah, so I'll try to move a bit quickly, so because I'll try to cover more questions. Okay, then the next one. Now I feel this one quite important. So for those of my students, actually this one we will do before, quite recent one, which they give us 2 types of drug. So in this chapter 12 right now, drugs, the two main drugs here, right? Okay, here they go give us morphine, marijuana, which is mainly what we call as depressants. Okay, it means it's they say here they say here, they didn't mention, they just say for medical purpose only, but they are usually mainly for painkiller, help you to slow down your transmission of nerve impulse, or sometimes it may also put you to sleep during surgery, like anesthetic like that. Okay, so these are called depressant. Later I write for you. Dada penenang in Malay. So this one is basically cocaine, amphetamine, meth. You know the short form for meth. Okay, like recently you see like social media got people take the drug already, then the car cannot drive properly, the tire punctured also don't know drive, this kind of, so this kind of drug. So describe the difference in how these drugs affect the transmission of nerve impulse. So for X, right, it's called a depressant drug, dada penenang. So it slows down your transmission of impulse. So basically, alcohol will be this kind of drug. So if they ask about alcohol, you can use the description that I'm about to explain here with you. So, depressant, right? So it's a depressant drug. Why is a stimulant drug? So people take this drug to get high, to feel happy, because they are more active. It stimulates your body, have more energy. Now, this effects here, right, is related to the transmission of nerve impulse over here. Now, depressant slows down transmission of nerve impulse, right? Because it reduces the secretion of neurotransmitter. Or you can say slow down, you can use inhibit. Now, I prefer to use the word inhibit. So basically, it inhibits the release of neurotransmitter. So the opposite of inhibit, this one it stimulates release of neurotransmitter. Okay, and then if there's less neurotransmitter, then basically you can continue the process. So it means less will diffuse across the synapse. So basically, less neurotransmitter diffuse across synapse. So this one just write more. So by the way, if they ask you how depressant drug affects your coordination response, right, exactly the same way you explain here. So if the less neurotransmitter move across, means less of it will bind to this part called the receptor protein. Stimulant means more. So just continue with the process only. So less neurotransmitter bind to the receptor protein. Sorry, I'm writing a bit ugly because my pup's sweating, nervous. Receptor protein. And then this one is more. And then basically, if there's more neurotransmitter, it means more nerve impulse. Okay, less means less go to your effector. So let's say if your brain asks your hand to move, since you cannot transmit nerve impulse to your effector, then your hands can move slowly. That's why people get drunk and they cannot walk properly because you cannot transmit the nerve impulse to your effector. So what you can say then is less nerve impulse transmitted to effector. So this one is more. And in the end, you can talk about the response. So this one, the response slower, less energy. You also can say less energy. So stimulant drug make you to react more faster and also we are more energetic. So caffeine, for example, coffee is a type of stimulant because it stimulates all of this more neurotransmitter, more nerve impulse. Yeah, so you can say response is slower. So response is quicker. Actually, energy also can one. So this one got less energy produced. This one more produced. Hello, people who just joined. What's up? Okay, so that's how you compare depressant drug and stimulant drug. And if they ask about painkiller, right, just actually painkiller, right, similar to how you write depressant drug. So depressant drug prevents your nerve impulse from your brain to reach your effector, right? But painkiller is the other way. It prevents the pain signal from your receptor to reach your brain. So more or less, you write the same thing. Okay, so can, if no problem. Now, this question, that's it, chapter 12. So this one, a bit of plants here. This one, I have skipped this. And okay, I will do a bit of chapter 9 over here. Now, even though last year got come out chapter 9, but you might never know. So we just practice a bit here. I will do a bit of chapter 9. There's a bit of chapter 10 punya things mixed with this question now. Okay, yeah. So let's try a bit. A bit K-but also this question. So I want to straight away do this one. So I'll pick a few and do that because our time quite limited. Now compare the mangrove tree species in zone 1 with mangrove tree species in zone 2. Now by the way, if you don't know what are the mangrove species here, just remember a sexy red blue, which is Avicennia, Soneraceae, SP dot. Your red bull is Rhizophora, and B. Uncle 明天来找你们 Who's there? Want to find me? Don't find me. No. Okay, then sonar ratio. Okay, the answer is compare zone 1 and zone 2. So, yeah, let me use a blank piece of paper. This one they just compare. Okay, now remember, whenever question asks compare, similarity and difference. Yeah, similarity and difference. Similarity and difference. Okay, let me write this down on a piece of paper because there's no space here, obviously. Now, zone 1 and zone 2, right? Basically, both are the same kind of trees that grow here. So what are the, so now this related a bit to Form 5 Chapter 7. Plants that grow in mangrove, swamp, grow in salt water. They are both called halophytes. Okay. Which way does it curve? We're talking about, which way does it curve? Then halophytes, they for the zone 1 and 2, right, they are both grow at more outside of the shore, like you can see here. They are more exposed to strong waves. Okay, they grow in muddy lah. You can say they grow in muddy area, more exposed to waves, kind of thing. So they are both exposed to a lot of water. And yeah, you can say waves also law. Okay, then for difference, let me see the question one more time. Ask about what? Compare the mangrove species. Okay, the mangrove species. So we can talk about the species first. So what are the species found in zone 1? They are Avicennia and Sonerasia. So I just write short form last. Just now we already write the name. Avicennia, Sonerasia. This one is Rhizophora. So I already got 2 differences. So we need around 4 similarities. 2 similarities, we need 4 differences. Okay. Then 1, you are exposed to more wave actually, because you are at the most outside. The zone number 1 is called coastal zone, zone garis pantai. Then this one is called zone tengah, the middle. So you are less exposed to waves. So this one has exposed terdedah kepada lebih ombak, more wave, exposed to more waves. This one is exposed to less waves. Then the roots that they have. So for Avicennia Sonerasia, they have system akar bercabang, or you can say they have wide root system. Rhizophora has akar jangkang called prop roots. And only Avicennia and Sonerasia have one is the breathing roots. They can go up and breathe, carry out gases exchange one. So they have pneumatophores. This one, no pneumatophores. Now let's do a bit of Form 5 Chapter 7 revision also. So plants that mangrove, they grow at swampy area, right? Because their roots, right, are submerged under a lot of water. So they need something called pneumatophores, which they grow upwards to help them gases exchange. So if question asks like a Form 5 Chapter 7 one, explain how the roots get oxygen or how they overcome this, what we call as waterlogged condition, keadaan bertakung air. So if there's a lot of water here, their roots cannot breathe. Because unlike human, right, we can take in oxygen from our nose, then we can distribute the oxygen downwards, but plants cannot do that. So their roots will always be underwater. So how they overcome this problem, you must say have pneumatophores. So pneumatophore, what is the characteristics? It basically can grow vertically upwards above the soil. And on the surface of the pneumatophores, a lot of lobang, this hole. These holes are called lenticel. It's like stoma like that. So you also can say which has lenticels. Malay also same, but it's spelled S-E-L, lenticel. to carry out gaseous exchange. So that's how you explain that. So this is actually related a bit to Form 5, Chapter 7. Okay. Right. Then this one, a bit of Form 5, Chapter 7, which I also think this plant chapter quite important. Explain the similarities of leaf adaptive features for mangrove trees and trees that live in desert. Similarities. Okay, now mangrove punya trees, right? Because they also exposed to a lot of sun because they grow by the shore. You know lah, beach got a lot of sun, one sometimes very hot. You also lose a lot of water. So therefore, they also their leaves right, are a bit similar like cactus that live in the desert one. So just like any leaf lah, leaf got what? Leaf has thick, waxy cuticle lah. So this is actually applicable to almost all plants. The thick, waxy cuticle, you should know this by now lah, which to prevent excessive water loss. And then you also can say there's something called sunken stomata or embedded stomata called stoma turbinum. So they have something called embedded stoma. Embedded means the stoma is lebih dalam sikit, inside a bit more like that. Embedded. So since it's inside, you are less exposed to the warm air outside, so reduce rate of transpiration. Water evaporates slower, so it reduces rates of transpiration, reduce water loss, basically. Okay, done. So a bit of Form 5 Chapter 7 also over here. Then the next question got. You want to copy this? Give you a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, next. They ask a bit about impact of these activities on mangrove ecosystem. Now, mangroves, they are very important for our ecosystem. So now you can see a mangrove ecosystem has been destroyed due to widespread logging activities in the area. Explain the impact of these activities. Now, this is a bit related to Chapter 10 because Chapter 10, endangered ecosystem, pollution, human activities. So, yeah, this impact. So number one, mangrove, right? One of their main roles, right, is to act as a protective zone. Means they can protect the coast from what? They protect it from strong wind and waves. That's number one. Without it, maybe sometimes got tsunami, you kena very teruk. And number two, right? If wave every day wash in and out, right? At land without trees, you have soil erosion. Here is something called coastal erosion. Means your coast, your sand and soil, right, will be washed away, and your land get lesser and lesser. And number two, right? It's also habitat for many animals here. So what we can say here is the coastal will be more exposed to strong wind and waves. So the sand, the soil will be washed away, so it causes what we call as coastal erosion. Means hakisan pantai. Usually we have hakisan tanah, this hakisan pantai loh. And a lot of animals will lose habitat. So one of the points in our textbook is that they provide habitat or food source for migratory birds. Means a lot of birds will come here because fishes will live inside the roots of the mangrove. So basically, no food source, no biodiversity lah. So you can say many fishes loses habitat. Those migratory birds loses food source. So what happens next is that we call this loss of biodiversity. Kehilangan biodiversity means got no animals or no living things. It's called loss of biodiversity. That's the thing you can say. No? And basically, a lot of fishermen, they also use this to rear fishes. Wait, I reply message. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, then loss of biodiversity. Other than that, you can say also fishery resources. So you can say the fisherman loses fishery resources because he uses to rear fishes. So give you one more point here also lah. You can say fisherman loses fishery resources. Yeah, because they cannot rear fishes. So these are the things you can say lah. So mangroves, these are important. No? And okay, there's this a bit of chapter 15 here. Now, if you go watch my YouTube video, this one I could go through also. But since this one I didn't do in BM, so this one I mentioned a bit more BM a bit lah. Okay, so anyways, here got one. I want to do this one a bit K-bar one. Okay, so they show us here. The teenager has regular periods. She wants to delay her period to participate in a swimming competition. So she has met with an obstetrician and a gynecologist to get hormone injections so that her period can be delayed. So, cadangkan tarik suntikan yang patut diambil, terangkan kesan hormon tersebut dalam mengawal haid menstruation. So, she want to take an injection to delay her period. So, haid bermula means this is the first day of menstrual cycle. It means this is the last day of the previous cycle. So, you want to inject progesterone right before ovulation. So, ovulation is around day 14. So, 22 minus 14 is around day on the 8th. So, you want to inject the hormone during here. So what I want to inject, I want to inject something called progesterone. Because progesterone will continue to thicken the endometrium, prevent it from shedding, menghalang dia memurai. So if it doesn't shed, means menstruation doesn't occur. So this one, okay, I will write this answer in DM, but I will mention in English also. So this one you want to memberi suntikan hormon progesteron needs you to give progesterone hormone, and when is sebelum ovulasi, which according to this question, before ovulation, right, is before it. Sebelum 8 hari bulan before the 8 lah. Okay, why? Because you inject the hormone already. The hormone needs time to take into to function one. Now, because during day 14 is ovulation lah. So after ovulation already, selepas ovulasi, the Graafian follicle will become the corpus luteum to produce progesterone. But if there's no pregnancy, the other kehamilan, right? After 1 week, this thing will degenerate already. Then no progesterone, haid berlaku, menstruation occur. So right before here, I want to inject the progesterone. So even when this thing mengurai already, the progesterone still can be continued to be secreted very long after the ovulasi. So you basically this one you just have to explain what's the function of progesterone, fungsi of progesterone. So progesterone will merangsang stimulate thickening of endometrium, merangsang penebalan endometrium. So oleh itu endometrium tidak mengurai. Endometrium does not shed. So if endometrium does not shed, haid tidak berlaku lah. Means menstruation doesn't occur. But this question you want 8 marks. So another 2 points you also can say right now. Remember the 4 hormones FOLP, or in Malay is FELP. FSH, estrogen, LH, progesterone. Progesterone, right, will actually inhibit, menyekat, or menghalang rembesan the F and the L. So because I inject progesterone already, right, this girl will not have FSH, LH, means that the next oocyte will not be developed. And also ovulasi tidak akan berlaku. So you prevent the next period from happening. So since it's 8 marks, you also can mention what does the progesterone do to prevent the next menstrual cycle, which is progesterone inhibit. So you can use the word merencat rembesan LH dan FSH. So oosit dan follicle tidak terbentuk. Berkembang lah, means the oocyte and the follicle does not develop and ovulasi tidak berlaku. Yeah, so you stop the next kita haid, the next menstrual cycle. So this one you can write like that lah. Okay, why this one? Only this question I mentioned in BM lah, because my YouTube got do only English, I didn't do BM for this one. Yeah, okay, so I mix a bit lah, huh? Okay, then after that, we go to another one. Okay. Now, this one is overcome infertility, kemandulan, how to overcome kemandulan. Okay, this 4 marks very simple only. So there's a guy, this inject P block seminal vesicle. But wife, okay. So usually for female, we always say have the what tube fallopian tersumbat, block fallopian tube, then need to what IVF, correct? Now guys also kemandulan. Now seminal vesicle, right, is to produce semen. Semen, right, the 精液, 男生的精液 or the air mani, okay? This thing is to help the sperm to swim towards the ovum. So the seminal vesicle block means semen cannot be secreted. Your sperm cannot swim towards the ovum. Swim few days, then no energy, die already. Okay? So for this one, there are 2 ways to overcome. Number 1, just like female one, you also can use IVF. Okay? Means the ovum disenyawakan di luar. Yeah, this one I do BM this question. Di luar, sorry, this is the luar of the tube fallopian untuk menghasilkan zygote. So fertilization occurs outside of the uterus, sorry, of the fallopian tube to form a zygote. But other than IVF, this one you need to explain the whole process because 4 marks only. Okay, well, one more method is called artificial insemination. It's called permainan beradas. Means that since the sperm cannot swim towards the ovum, so the doctor will help him collect his sperm. So collect already, then the doctor will take and straight away inject inside the tube fallopian. Straight away, sorry, I draw this. Straight away inject it over here. Because without the semen, the sperm cannot swim, got no energy to swim towards the ovum because the semen actually provides nutrients, energy for sperm berenang. So therefore, permainan beradas is whereby sperm is collected, dikumpulkan oleh doktor dan disuntik ke dalam tube fallopian of the use this tube fallopian tube of the ibu or the mother. So sperm is collected by the doctor and is straight away inseminated, injected into the fallopian tube of the mother. Will I post the live? Yeah, the live of course will post. Will post on later in the watch back also can. Alright. Then one more here. Okay, this one is the HCG one. So this one for my class B students, this one we got mentioned a few times already lah. Oh my god, my screen lagged a bit. Kejap ah. Let me stop sharing it first. Sorry iPad old already. Sometimes it lag ah. Is it shave? What shave? What are you talking about? Shave? Share? Is it? Yeah, wait. So I closed the screen here. Okay, I share one more time. Okay, then here. HCG hormone basically it's a pregnancy test. They like to ask this one. So justify the pregnancy test result of Mrs. Q. So this one is like test COVID and that. So pregnancy test is called what? The ujian kehamilan is done like this. So you pee on this thing. If got 2 line means positive. Hooray! Congrats, pregnant. Okay, so they ask us to wajarkan keputusan ujian kehamilan. So obviously this mother is pregnant, right? So the keputusan first you must say lo dia hamil, kehamilan berlaku. Kehamilan berlaku. The woman is pregnant. Okay, pregnancy occurs. So how do I know based on the test result this girl is pregnant? Because pregnancy test test presence of a hormone called HCG. Dia menguji kehadiran hormone HCG, which HCG can be tested in the urine one. Okay, for those who know how HCG works, right? Okay, let's say here's the, okay, I don't need to draw the uterus, dinding uterus. So after penempelan occurs, implantation occurs, right? Now within around 3 to 4 days, within a week, the placenta will start to form. But the placenta is still very small. So it haven't secreted the progesterone estrogen yet. It will secrete something called HCG, which HCG is the reason why your corpus luteum kekal. So we all learned before that if kehamilan berlaku pregnancy occurs, corpus luteum remains, corpus luteum kekal, it doesn't break down, and will continue to secrete estrogen, progesterone to merangsang penebalan dinding endometrium. So how does this thing know to remain? It's because of this HCG hormone. However, this HCG hormone will leak out and mix with the kencing, with the pee. That's why you can test the test kit using your urine because this hormone hadir dalam kencing. So you can say kehamilan berlaku, where you can say di mana the hormone HCG hadir present. HCG hormone is present yang boleh dikesan melalui air kencing ibu, which can be tested through the mother's urine. So this hormone is only needed for the first 12 weeks, the first 3 months of pregnancy, because after 3 months, this placenta will then fully form already. So after 3 months, placenta akan sendiri merembeskan estrogen progesterone untuk mengekalkan ketebalan endometrium. Then after that, no more HCG, no more corpus luteum, because placenta sendiri boleh menghasilkan the progesterone estrogen. So that's what happened later lah. But for this question, I already mentioned that. So then here you just mentioned the HCG. So HCG merangsang stimulates the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. What it is? Untuk terus berfungsi dan merembeskan two hormon as mini progesteron dan estrogen. Can I write HCG in short form? Yes. Hormone you can write short form. Okay. Hey, be polite at the chat. No this dirty things, no bullying. Okay. What kind of thing is this? Okay, so then you can say the functional. Yang merangsang, which stimulate thickening of endometrium, penebalan endometrium. Loh. So why the endometrium have to continue menebal semasa kehamilan is because you want to let implantation occur. So you also can say this adalah untuk penempelan embryo, for implantations of embryo. Okay. Done. Then for SBP, I will just go through this question. So there's another paper that I say I will do, which is Malacca paper. So let me find this Malacca paper. So I will just do a few that I think we should go through also. Okay, I'll do one Form 5 Chapter 8. So Form 5 Chapter 8, also 2 years absent in our paper. I think it's something that we should look at. Other than chapter 9, 10, especially 10, actually I do a lot with my students already. So yeah, we do about chapter 8. So chapter 8 got this thing called the classification of organism biodiversity. So if 第四个 test 不出来 what do you mean test? I don't know what you're asking. 第四个 test. Or 第4个月 4 months. Yeah, usually after 4 months you use pregnancy, the test kit, right? You won't test anything already because after that got no ECG. But then 4 months later you don't need to test either. You can see your stomach so big, you also don't need to test. Okay, anyways, this one, the hierarchy one. So remember this one is the, how I remember is that this one, donkey. So you will start from actually domain. Domain usually we don't mention because it's too wide already range. Usually we start from kingdom. But for my memorizing technique, got mentioned domain one. So Donkey Kong punya PP can only find good. So this good is genus and species. Yeah, one more time. Donkey Kong PP can only find good species. Malay one a bit friendly a bit. Dora and friends can only find good species. Okay. So usually the phylum, class, order, family, right? This one you don't need to go memorize one. This one is beyond our syllabus one. But kingdom you need to know lah. So tiger is what kingdom? Tiger same like human lah. Human is animal, so it's Animalia. You cannot say animal lah, but say Animalia. Okay. So other than Animalia, what other kingdoms, other alam you have? You have Plante. Plants is called Plante. You have fungi. You have the paramecium amoeba one called Protista, and you also got the 2 bacteria called Eubacteria. By the way, the spelling for Malay and English is the same. This one is in Latin, so it's the same one. BM English, all the same one. Spelling for this one. So the other one is called Archaebacteria. By the way, Eubacteria and Archaebacteria, right, are the only 2 kingdoms that don't have nucleus, the other nucleus one. So the other nucleus, no nucleus, right? We use this to describe them called prokaryote. So no nucleus, very pro. This one got nucleus, not pro, called eukaryote. So by the way, eukaryote and prokaryote are the 2 different domains. Okay, so you got eukaryote and prokaryote. So under eukaryote, you got 4 kingdoms: Plantae, Animalia, Fungi, Protista. And in prokaryote, you got Eubacteria, Archaebacteria. Okay, then based on the table name X and Y, name for you already, genus and Animalia. State the scientific name, nama scientific bagi harimau Malaya. Now, for this kind of bab 8 question, Okay, if they ask you to write scientific name, you need to follow the this one, the system data number binomial, the binomial nomenclature system. So the name, you always use the last two words, genus and species. So it's called Panthera. Sorry, P must capital. See, to make this mistake. Panthera, and then Tigris. So genus first word, second word, species. And the second word, remember, must start with lowercase, huruf kecil. This one uppercase, huruf besar. Don't forget to underline separately. If you underline join wrong, so this 1 mark, very easy to get, very easy to lose. What if we are mammals? Why can't we go on land and water? Okay, I'm going to answer the question. Anyways, explain the binomial nomenclature system. So, based on means how do you name the rules that you need to use to name the tiger? So, number one, it consists of two words. So, scientific name consists of two words. Whereby first word is the genus, second word is the species. Number three, what we mentioned just now, first word begin with uppercase, capital, second begin with lowercase. Alright, so you can say the genus begins with uppercase letter, huruf besar. Species begins with lowercase. And underline. So in written form, semasa bertulis, you must underline separately. Must be underlined separately. In printed form, you don't need to underline, but you must put in italic. Means you type the time, you must Control I on your keyboard. It must be written in italic. So these are the things that you need to know. Okay. All right. Now there's another one here called what's it called? Phylogenetic tree. Show your ancestor one. So there's a few animals here showing the bird, bat, whale, cat, horse, human punya arms, showing the limbs. So they ask, what is the structure used in phylogenetic classification? So the structure used here is called a homologous structure. So homologous structure is a part of a body which can be observed across a few organisms. So they might look different, but they are similar and they share the same ancestor. Share the same ancestor means, right, all of us, right, we evolve from a same organism. Because we have similar structures, so as they slowly branch out, then they slowly evolve, become different. So since our arms all look the same, right, scientists believe that we came from the same organism, same ancestor, we call it. So because we have similar homologous structure, okay, so that's called homologous structure. So state the purpose of phylogenetic classification. So it's basically to show evolutionary history, to menunjukkan sejarah evolusi in a group of organism which share a common ancestor. So we share berkongsi leluhur yang sama. Lelohor in BM ancestors called Lelohor. Yeah, so we evolved from the same organism. This is called an ancestor lah. Understand? Now, I think I'll just do one more question. Then I think just nice. Okay, Form 5 Chapter 1, this year, this one plant important, but I do a video on this. You can go check my 2025 playlist, got this question already. So this one, yeah, I don't want to do this one because it's the same thing I do already. No point I do again this one. Chapter 7, Form 4 Chapter 7, this one also I could do video on it. Yeah, you can go see my state trial playlist 2025. Let's try okay, I do two more questions now. For you, I do more of it now. Okay, I do one cell division question here. Page number 8. Mitosis, meiosis is a very common thing, right? Even though last year it got come out, but yeah, let's try one. Okay, actually this one is not really mitosis, meiosis, it's got a bit related to your mutation, Form 5 Chapter 12 one. So by the way, 8.1 shows a non-disjunction of homologous chromosome in one of the stages during meiosis 1. So non-disjunction is the chromosome fail to separate. So by the way, this is what phase? Yeah, here got right already. I have no point asking. Yeah, this is called this anaphase one. So anaphase is where the chromosomes separate. So during anaphase, if the chromosome didn't separate properly, probably supposed to one come here, but instead here you can see two come to one side. So they separate like this. So this is called non-disjunction. Non-disjunction always occurs during anaphase 1. Now, if you still do not know how to differentiate anaphase 1 and 2, anaphase 1, right, the homologous chromosome, the pair of chromosome baru separate. So they are like this one, they separate like that. If it's anaphase 2, like this fella, now the sister chromatid will separate. So meiosis 2 is like mitosis. You will see your chromosome become like this already. Means you don't have a pair of chromosome anymore. You only got one fella separating like mitosis. So they ask us to draw here, right? So here, they ask us to draw anaphase 2. Okay, so this is a bit like cell division. Form 4 Chapter 5. So draw the centriole first. Okay, then we assume this fella split normally. So then this one, now you got 3. So just draw the 3, follow the same lah. So got 1 here, 2. Okay, these 2 need bigger a bit. Okay, for mitosis, meiosis, right? Okay, you must draw the chromatids like this one actually. Okay, let's draw it the correct way. The top part must be short, the bottom part must be slightly longer. Then this one is bigger. You can see this bigger pair compared to this one. So you draw bigger, but same, top part shorter, bottom part longer. Then you do the same for this one. And same centrioles at both opposite pole. So by right, when I split that time, I'm supposed to have 2 come to this side, 2 come to this side. But because of non-disjunction, you can see now 3 come here, 1 come here. So the chromosome number different already, though. Okay, now it's supposed to be 2, 2, but now 1, 3, 1 got 1 extra, 1 got less extra. Okay, so I already complete the drawing. Form 4 Chapter 6 now, 5. Did I say 5 just now? Sorry, yeah, this is Form 4 Chapter 6. Now, diagram 8.2 shows a type of tumor that has spread to other tissues, organs in body. So this is cancer, relating to our cell division chapter. So suggests a method that can be used to treat tumor. So there are 2 ways to cure cancer. The one that we always got learn one is called chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is something you see in movies. One, they will detect like a radioactive substance into the blood, which this radioactive substance actually kill cancer cells. So basically, a type of radioactive liquid, or you can say substance, is used to kill or destroy cancer cells. But there's another method. Usually this one in real life seldom mentioned one. It's called radiotherapy. So radiotherapy, you will use high ionizing radioactive rays to focus it on one area that have tumor to kill the cancer cells in that area. So for this one, you will say high ionizing. You all study physics, you know what's high ionizing. That means you can ionize, diffuse through your skin. High ionizing radioactive rays are used to destroy cancer cells. Do you recommend to do trial paper now or continue to read and revise? Do questions. Now study, no point already. Yeah, do questions. Use pencil for drawing, of course. You can use pen, but then you make mistake, then you're going to make a mess, right? Yeah, so use pencil, of course. Okay, then this one will relate to your Form 5 Chapter 12. So this is how your cell division sometimes could ask you mix with a bit of Chapter 11, 12, and 13 because genetics involves cell division, chromosome. So this one, they ask us to compare two different genetic diseases, two chromosome mutation question caused by the non-disjunction one. So, okay, this one easy lah. 1X1, this one is called Turner syndrome. The girl, they only got one X chromosome. This one is not related to sex chromosome, it's sex normal. This one, the easier one, got one extra chromosome and 21st pair. Yeah, Down syndrome. This is not Klinefelter. Klinefelter is XXY, a male with extra one X chromosome. That is Klinefelter. So name of disease, yeah, I just mentioned. Type of cell involved. Type of cell means this is mainly your. There's two types of cells. Somatic cell means your body cell, and reproductive cell, gamete. So Turner syndrome is mainly involved. If I'm not mistaken, this one is gamete, and this one is somatic cell. Okay, this one I might need the Tivu answer. Let me check a bit. This one is which question? This one is question 8. Okay, let me check question 8. Question 8. Don't give you the wrong answer. Chapter number, page number. Body cell, germ cells. Turner syndrome cells, you can say gamete. But somatic cell means your body, normal body cells lah. Okay. Now, then here got justify the prohibition on the use of chemical weapons in warfare. So this one's so long on this question. Okay, they say, what's this? Okay, they use powerful chemical measures used by US military during Vietnam War to eliminate North Vietnamese and Viet Cong. Okay, so this is your sejarah like that. Oh my god, sejarah. Okay, so basically this thing is chemical weapon because those chemical cause mutation, right? That's why like in Japan they use the atomic bomb, and then the next few generations people got cancer, got mutation, because inside got radiation. So justify the prohibition. So basically you can say, look, it should be prohibited. Because it contains radioactive substance which cause mutation. Basically 2 marks only lah at this law. Okay, then okay, this one let me just do a bit more difference. So if they ask, like, let's say S, they ask you to compare, right? There's a lot of things you can compare here. For example, this fella got one less chromosome, so he total have 45 chromosomes. This fella got one extra, 47. This is mutation is occur in sex chromosome. This further mutation occurs in what's this? This is your autosome. So non-sex chromosome is called autosome. And for Down syndrome, right, since it doesn't affect the sex chromosome, girl or boy also can get Down syndrome. So it can occur in female and male. But Turner syndrome, X is a girl. So it occurs only in female. Yeah, so these are the other differences you can say also. Okay. Can write to prevent suffering of people. Okay, so basically you want to also then cause, okay, don't say prevent suffering, you can say it prevent genetic diseases, right? So we mentioned that there's a lot of diseases here, right? So yeah, it can help prevent or cancer and also genetic diseases in people, in humans. Okay. Okay, then why not we just end it with a one essay question. Okay, the one more. Okay, we do a bit. Okay, for my students, I will do before already one, but never mind. I just do together with everybody over here. So last one, we do a bit of a genetic engineering question now. Okay, so diagram 9.1 shows a genetically modified salmon and a normal salmon called Chinook salmon. So in our syllabus, we got study something called super salmon. So super salmon is a genetically modified Atlantic salmon to grow faster. So they ask here, A2 like we still already do, discuss the benefits of genetically modified salmon in fish farming. So this super salmon is because you want to make it grow faster. So basically, it has higher growth rate. Okay, so if you got higher growth rate, means you have higher production, higher yield, right? More fish. So more production means you can overcome food shortage punya problem. And because since this fish is genetically modified, right, they are not caught from the wild. Instead, they are being bred. Bred means they breed it by themselves. So meaning you can be bred in captivity. And since you can own self go and grow this fish, right, you can produce this fish throughout the whole year. Boleh dihasilkan sepanjang tahun. Because unlike fish that caught from the wild, right, they have breeding season. Maybe like end of the year don't have, only the middle of the year only got. So basically they can be produced throughout the whole year. And since they grow faster, I don't need to spend so much time and money taking care of the fish. So cost rendah. So they have lower production cost. They got breeding season, got lot of fishes, most fishes, sea animals got one. Then this one, modified crops. Now, most crops, right, we genetically modify it, right, to make it resistant towards pests. So you can see that this GMO over here it's been genetically modified. You can see got no worms at all. So this kind of crop, right, we call it BT plant. So usually have BT corn, BT rice, BT eggplant. So if you see the word BT, right, BT is a name for a bacteria, whereby this bacteria have a pest-resistant gene that we insert into it to make it resistant towards pests. Rindang, terhadap, serangan, serangga. So describe the technique to produce BT. So the technique here is basically genetic engineering. So you can say the technique here is genetic engineering, whereby, okay, let me just write it here, no space. So what I do is I take the gene, okay, it's a bit like make the insulin bacteria, that one. We take gene from an organism and then put it into the plant. So you can say the pest resistant gene. So gene rintang serangga from this BT bacteria, you can write this name called BT bacteria, is inserted into the genome means the gene of, BM also same genome of the eggplant. So to produce, so the purpose of genetic engineering is to produce organisms with new genetic combination. So we can say produce a completely new eggplant. As I created a human that can fly, so it's a completely new genetic combination. Eggplant with gene kombinasi gene baru, new genetic combination. Okay, we're almost there already. We'll do a few more. Now, discuss the advantages of using BT eggplant seed. So this is similar to advantage of GMO. So GMO are genetically modified food. So BT eggplant is a type of genetically modified food. So we say already, right? Look at the diagram. BT, right, is to make it resistant towards pests, right? So let me just write a piece of paper here. So the advantage here is it is resistant towards insect pests. So if insect doesn't eat it, you can produce more. So generally GMO, right, is to make sure the whole world got more food. So you increase production or higher yield. I prefer to use this word, higher yield, higher production. And then if you produce more, basically you overcome food shortage punya problem. Overcome food shortage. You also get to reduce costs, production costs. Because if no insect eat your plant, you can plant lesser. You don't need to use pesticide. So you also can say reduce use of pesticides. Also can. So give you 5 marks over here. Speaking of eggplant, are they all modified? Of course, you have organic also. So most crops that we eat are genetically modified. Corn, rice, paddy's rice, are mostly genetically modified. So the one that are not modified are called organic. Of course, they do exist, but they are rare compared to genetically modified. Okay. Then this one, the comparison between the two variations. This one you can go through the answer yourself. This one I think I don't want to go through already. You can look through at the answers. And then I think I will just mention one last thing, which is, okay, question 11, okay, last one. Now let me just go through a bit, A1, A2. Now, define green technology. So, I think Selangor people also got asked this one. So what is the meaning of green technology? So green technology, you can say is whereby you develop technologies that minimize degradation caused by human activities. So for example, maybe I have like this one, not natural fertilizer, so it's better than chemical fertilizer, which cause pollution. So something like that lah. Then discuss the benefits of practices practiced by the farmer. So what this farmer is doing here is using kitchen compost as fertilizer, natural fertilizer. So what is the advantage here is, okay, since this is the last question I will do already, why not you all help me out a bit? Last one, benefit of this thing, got what? Need 6 marks. Come on, chat. Stop quarreling there, what are you guys doing? So childish. Come on, last day. Let's go. So if you use food waste to make kitchen compost, obviously you get to reduce domestic waste. Oh, that's a very good answer. Exactly. Domestic waste means you reduce rubbish. So if you reduce rubbish, you also get to reduce landfill. And if you use your own fertilizer, we get to save costs. Yeah, because this is cheap, right? Yeah, you get to save costs. And if you do not use, if you use compost, right, you use less chemical fertilizer, so you get to reduce use of chemical fertilizers, and then which reduces pollution, water, and soil pollution. Reduce habitat destruction, not really, because you're using kitchen compost. Habitat destruction, no, not really. Is pea fertilizer? Your grandma pee on plants? Yeah, you can use your pee. Your pee got ammonia. Ammonia is good for plants. However, nobody is poisonous. If you pee on the leaf, then the leaf didn't wash, you eat your pee. What kind of thing is this? Okay, now another thing you can say is usually kitchen compost, this kind of fertilizer, they are more nutritious to the plant. So you also can say you increase soil fertility, meningkatkan kesuburan tanah. So it also can say increases the growth rates of crops. It's most of the time these kind of fertilizers are better lah. So these are the things that we can say. Okay. Overpopulation causes pollution. Yeah, so there's one topic in our bio, it's called population boom. So if population increase, what does it cause? Of course, there's more pollution, because if it's more human, there will be more deforestation for land. There will be more, okay, since somebody asked about this, why not we just mention also? So if population keep on increasing, okay, so what would it cost? So basically everything that you learn in 10.1, endangered ecosystem, right? You can just mention it, because more human means what? More deforestation, right? So yeah, more deforestation. So if there's more deforestation, means there's more, it leads to a loss of habitat, right? And then basically it causes extinction of species. If there's more human, you use more electricity, more aircon, more car, right? You burn more petrol, more air pollution, right? More depletion of resources. So anything in 10.1 you can think of, just jump up inside for this question. Yeah, this one will ask one, by the way. So I give you a few examples. You can say basically there is more burning of fossil fuel. So basically more deforestation, more burning of fossil fuel leads to more greenhouse effect, more air pollution. You also can say it will cause depletion of natural resources. So extinction of this species, as you can see, cause loss of biodiversity. More human activity, will they ask us how to stop overpopulation? This one I don't think they will ask. Thanos, snap his finger. Just kidding. Need comparison question, need to draw table. Okay, it depends. If it's your section B, section C, you can draw table. If it's structure section A, they ask you to compare blah blah blah, then they give you line, then you have to write sentence. Understand? Later can go through the topic about Down syndrome chromosomes related one. Okay, you know what? Actually, I've done doing questions already. So now I open up to everybody. If you have questions to ask, you can ask. I'll take questions for the next around 20 minutes. If you got nothing to ask, then yeah, you can. Good night. You can go to sleep. When you continue listen, also can. Okay, Down syndrome. Somebody asked about Down syndrome. Down syndrome chromosome related one. Okay, so Down syndrome. Okay, let's say if they ask, explain how Down syndrome occurs. So Down syndrome, just like just now we got mentioned, is caused by non-disjunction of chromosomes. But specifically Down syndrome, just now, where's the question? Let me just flip back a bit. Yeah, you have one extra chromosome at the 21st pair. So we have 23 chromosomes, right? So during meiosis that time, the 21st one got like just now this problem called non-disjunction. So let's say they ask you to explain Down syndrome. Okay, so what you can say is that during meiosis, non-disjunction, tak disjunction like in Malay, occurs at the 21st chromosome at anaphase 1 or 2. Oh, actually before this, right, if let's say the marks got more of it, let's say it's assay, right, you also can say, right, why the chromosome fail to separate is because you also can say spindle fiber fail to form. Gentian gelondong gagal terbentuk, gagal berfungsi to function. Same at your 21st chromosome. So the non-disjunction occurs at specific 21st. So Down syndrome is you have one extra chromosome. So you produce one chromosome with one extra, a gamete with extra chromosome, a gamete with a one lack chromosome. So the extra one is what it causes Down syndrome. So we mentioned the extra one can be also gamete with one extra chromosome is produced. At 21st chromosome. So if this gamete, see you got one extra one which is have 24 in total, fertilized by a normal sperm, 23 one, then you get a zygote with 47, which is one extra chromosome. So that is Down syndrome. So if this gamete is fertilized by a normal gamete, then zygote with 47 chromosomes is produced. That's how you explain Down syndrome. Schematic diagram question will come out like how? Schematic diagram, Form 5 chapter 11, inheritance. Basically, like, let's say, just now the SBP question, there's one here, right? I just didn't do. Schematic diagram, like this one, very simple one. So maybe they ask you to draw big H, small h, like that. Cross. So you can look at the few stage trial. Okay, this one very hard to go through now. So you can go through how to differentiate photonesty and nyctinesty. Okay, photonesty is Okay, basically Nyctinasty, they will, okay, let me just Photonasty, Nyctinasty. Okay, Nyctinasty are basically plants that sort of like go to sleep. Means they have something called circadian rhythm. Okay, you read the question. If the question got mentioned, okay, usually what plants will have Nyctinasty, right? So somebody asked here called Nyctinasty, and then you have something called Photonasty. Okay, this one I don't think they will actually ask you to compare lah, because it's quite difficult. Which Nyctinasty, right? They will mention one. This one has something called a circadian rhythm. Not sure whether I spell it correctly. Circadian rhythm means they got sleep cycle. So during the night, it's not like the flower close, but they just become inactive. So means they sort of like go to sleep. Okay, this one is not comparison. They won't ask you. Okay, Photonasty is they react towards light. So got light, the flower open. Usually Photonasty, right, is mainly for flowers. Nyctinasty is mainly for leaves. So only what plant usually have Nyctinasty, right? In our textbook, if you read, right, they say it's legume plants, means bean species plant. So Photonasty is usually when got light, the flower open. Nighttime, the flower closes. Yeah. So like that, lor. Yeah, so you read the question. The question will say, right, if they say the plant has a circadian rhythm during nighttime, the leaves like sort of like close and becomes inactive. They say it's a legume plant, right, then it's Nyctinasty. So Photonasty will show flower open close one. This is what usually Photonasty is. Is Down syndrome hereditary? Down syndrome is caused by mutation. It's not really hereditary. It's caused by because formation of gamete that time the chromosome didn't split properly. So it's not really like inherited one. So your parents don't have, the child could suddenly have one, because when they form sperm and ovum, yeah, they didn't manage to separate properly. Okay, there's too much here. Was the characteristics of eubacteria, archaebacteria, protista important? Yes, important. Yeah, we'll go through one later. For essay question asking about relationship between four hormones, FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone, with the ovarian cycle, 10 marks. Okay, Daniel, you're asking about this question, right? Look at my Form 4 Chapter 15 state trial video. I go through this question. Yeah. Recently just uploaded one. You go to my state trial playlist. Is there. Okay, state trial playlist, okay, I might miss some lah, I'm so sorry. Any essay about paramecium amoeba? Paramecium amoeba, I don't have essay question. I got a lot of structured question about paramecium amoeba, also in my state trial. Okay, but paramecium amoeba, if they ask essay, actually quite simple. Okay, now if they ask essay for paramecium amoeba, right, I think the longest thing they could ask is the amoeba feeding process. Phagocytosis. So easy. So what, they extend the pseudopodium one. Pseudopodium, then to engulf the food. So after engulf the food already, you will have a food vacuole form around the food. So remember to mention food vacuole form around food. So after you have food vacuole already, you have this thing called lysosome attached to it. Use the lysozyme to digest the food. So remember, you have a lysosome. Secrete a kind of enzyme called lysozyme. Digest the food. And after digesting the food, if it's acid, probably when you write more, so nutrients diffuse into cytoplasm. So amoeba, unlike human, they don't have a butt to release the food. So basically, undigested food, makanan tidak tercerna, just left behind. Left behind by amoeba. And for paramecium amoeba, right? The osmoregulation process means their contractile vacuole law, how they excrete excess water. So basically, they live in freshwater, hypotonic. So they always have excess water diffusing into the cell. So if there's too much water, excess water will diffuse into contractile vacuole. So you can see the water go into contractile vacuole, remember, by osmosis. Okay, so once it reaches maximum size, it will contract and eliminate or expel the excess water. Amoeba, paramecium, same one. Okay, so you go look at my Form 4 chapter, the trial series one, I got do a lot of paramecium question actually. So paramecium, right? For paramecium, right? Okay, go and make sure you know what does cilia do. Regular, rhythmic beating, regular beating, pukulan secara berritma. So that's what the movement of cilia is. Cilia always used to help to sweep food for feeding and also for movement. So they are mainly used for feeding, movement. And also just now the contractile vacuole we just mentioned also can be found in paramecium. So these are the important things. And also reproduction. So paramecium, they reproduce through two methods. They have conjugation, which is their sexual reproduction, and they have binary fission, which is their asexual. So, but they reproduce differently during different conditions. So asexual, right, will happen during favorable condition. Sexual will happen during not favorable, unfavorable. So example of unfavorable condition is right now what amoeba and paramecium don't like is they don't like acid. So if it's pH, too acid, alkaline, is what they don't like. If it's hot or cold, also they don't like. They also don't like light. They also don't like dry. So when they face this kind of situation, they will undergo conjugation, their sexual reproduction. And conjugation is mainly involved their small nucleus, micronucleus. Okay. There's no wrong cancer, right, in bio. What does genesis mean in spermatogenesis? Production of sperm. Well, there's too many. Okay, I will try my best to answer as many as possible, but sorry, I can't answer all. Okay, so somebody asked the kingdom punya characteristics, is it important? Okay, yes, it is important. Previously, I could do one question with my students. Let me just find the question. Is it this one? Yeah. So for this book, they ask us to compare, like, let's say, fungi or plants, right? Okay, there are 5 things that you can use to compare. Is that number 1, unicellular, or multicellular. Okay, so let me just redo this together lah. Okay, here you got answer lah. So basically, both are multi-cell. Both got nucleus. In English, is called eukaryote. This is BN is IOT. English is YOTE. Means they got nucleus. Only bacteria no nucleus. So they are both multi-cell and they both cannot move. So the easiest thing to compare, right, is got nucleus or not, multi or unicell, and also how they get food, heterotroph, autotroph. So only plants are autotroph. Fungus, you need to grow on dead organisms, so it's hetero. Okay, so name also got difference one, by the way. Okay, let's say they ask you to compare fungus and plant. Fungus, plant punya cell wall is made up of cellulose. But cell wall of fungus is made of something called chitin. So that's another thing you can compare. And why they can produce their own food? Because got chlorophyll, no chlorophyll, asexual and sexual reproduction. This one's only asexual. Okay, but let's say they ask you to compare protista. Okay, protista, they are like your amoeba paramecium. So just like bacteria, they can be uni or multi-cell. Now, this depends what the question gives you. If they give you an amoeba or a paramecium, then it's mainly unicell. Most protista are unicellular. So you're going to use the characteristics to compare. Protista got nucleus one, so they are eukaryote. Only bacteria is prokaryote, remember. Okay, and then protista, they uni or multi depends on the question. Protista also can be heterotroph, means they produce their own food. I mean, they eat, or some can be auto. But again, depends on the question. If they give you amoeba paramecium, they are mostly heterotroph. Bacteria, they are hetero. They are prokaryote, and bacteria are mainly unicellular. So these are use characteristics to compare. Understand? Okay, but most likely, I think they will ask you to compare plants and fungus. Yeah, so if anybody want to screenshot this, yeah, you can just take a screenshot. Digestive system is a bit long now. Sorry, I can't go through that now. You can look at there's one YouTube short that I do is settle digestion in 3 minutes. You can look at that. Chapter 15 essay, go look, okay, the one they're asking chapter 15 again, yeah, go to my state trial series. I did a few essay questions there. I can't do all. I really did one just now. Yeah, nitrogen cycle is a very long process. Okay, I can't do this now. I'm so sorry. It's a bit too long. Okay, you know what? I end it with one last nitrogen cycle. For you, I do it. So nitrogen cycle, I actually got a question I did here with my students before. Okay, but let me just go through the whole thing one time. Okay, so nitrogen cycle, I just go through a bit. This last already, then we will end the life. So nitrogen gas will be converted into ammonium. So this is called NH4+. Okay, nitrogen cycle, there are 3 main processes which they occur mainly in the soil. So there are 3 bacteria carrying out 3 different processes. So the first process is called nitrogen fixation. They are carried out by a group of bacteria called nitrogen fixing bacteria. So there are 2 main nitrogen fixing bacteria. The most common one question like to ask is called the rhizobium. They live in the root noodles of leguminous plant. So that's why sometimes question ask about leguminous plant. Leguminous plant inside got rhizobium. Rhizobium convert nitrogen to ammonium. Now, ammonium is a very important nutrient for plants because plants absorb ammonium to get nitrogen. Because remember, this process occurs in the soil. Now, other than that, ammonium then will become nitrate, which is NO2 minus. Nitrite first, sorry, NO2 minus. Nitrite then becomes nitrate. This is called NO3 minus. This process is called nitrification. The bacteria involved is nitrifying bacteria. So there are 2 types of nitrifying bacteria. Both of these bacteria has the word nitro in it. So the first one a bit of Chinese, nitro somot. Somot means what though? So every time I tell my students this one, you will accidentally remember this one. So you think of nitro somot, oh, nitro somot, what though? SP dot. This one at the back one is called nitrobacter. SP dot. So they might ask you to explain nitrification. So bacteria process. Nitrosomonas converts ammonium to nitrite. Nitrobacter converts nitrite into nitrate. And this is called a cycle. Means everything have to go back to where it came from. So the last process is nitrogen, the NO3 here becomes nitrogen gas and oxygen gas, which is returned back to your atmosphere, which this is called denitrification, which is carried out by denitrifying bacteria. This one got no example. Then you go back to where you came from. No? So why plants are the main thing that rely on this process? Because they rely ammonium, nitrite, and nitrate to get nitrogen. They can't absorb nitrogen from the air, just like human. We get nitrogen from our food source. But you also need to know, ammonium comes from another source. Ammonium comes from dead, decaying matter. Means dead organisms. Now, usually when dead organisms die, they will be decomposed into ammonium. We call this decomposition. But in nitrogen cycle, decomposition is known as ammonification. So who carry out ammonification? Decomposes bacteria lah. Okay, let me just go through a few questions for nitrogen cycle, then we will end the live already. Okay, so anybody want to screenshot this? You can just take a quick screenshot for a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, for example, okay, I'll just show the question here lah. Okay, this is exactly like what I draw for you just now. So state the bacteria involved. So bacteria, you know already, lor. Just like we mentioned, P and Q are two nitrifying bacteria, the nitrosomot, the nitrobacter, P and Q. Explain the process. So the process is called nitrification. So just like we say, lor, what bacteria convert what to what. Now, only the first process we will mention fix. We don't say convert. So for first process, for example, we say rhizobium fix nitrogen gas into ammonium. Okay, then here they always ask a bit of but what will happen to the environment if organism X is absent? So organism X are basically decomposers. They convert dead organism to ammonia, ammonification. They quite like to ask this process. Okay, so without them, your soil will have less ammonia. Means you have less nutrients for the plant. Okay, because plants rely on ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. Number 2, if this doesn't happen, everything here decreases, means eventually nitrogen gas in the atmosphere also will decrease. So here is the answer. Without decomposers, dead organism not decomposed, then first, okay, nothing related to the nitrogen cycle yet. This will cause pollution because dead body will pile up. Nothing will decompose dead body. Then just like we mentioned, nutrients are not returned to the soil. So your animals, your plants inside got a lot of nutrients for plants. They are not decomposed, returned to the soil. Soil become less fertile. So basically plants will be affected. And basically nitrogen in the atmosphere decrease. Whoever wants this can screenshot this. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Then, okay, got one. So here another nitrogen cycle. Same thing. You can see U, what process? Convert dead things into ammonium, ammonification. What is the microorganism involved? You can just say bacteria. So decomposers are mainly bacteria, fungi. Okay. Process T, ammonium to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate. So this is the second bacteria. So this is nitrobacter. Okay, then this is where you will find the rhizobium, one of the nitrogen-fixing bacteria. This is the last one you really will do. So rhizobium, they live in root noodles of leguminous plant. By the way, if they ask you, how does, as a farmer, right, how can farmer use nitrogen cycle or use leguminous plant to make the soil more fertile? So you can explain this. So leguminous plant has root noodles which contains the rhizobium. So for farmers, right, let's say if I plant a paddy, right, in between the paddy field, right, I might want to plant leguminous plant in the center because their roots got rhizobium. Rhizobium convert nitrogen to ammonium. So my soil got more ammonium, more nutrients. So what do you do? It fixes atmospheric nitrogen into ammonium. So basically, soil become more fertile. But for this question, they're asking something a bit different, a bit related to chapter 9. They ask the interaction between these two plants. This is the symbiosis interaction. Leguminous plant and rhizobium, they both have mutualism because leguminous plant is a plant. So when the bacteria produce ammonium, right, the plant can directly absorb ammonium for nutrient. Okay, but in return, the plant also provides it with food nutrients for the rhizobium. So here's the answer. You just got to explain how they benefit each other. So rhizobium, like I said, fixes atmospheric nitrogen into ammonium, absorbed by roots of leguminous plant as nutrients. Leguminous plant, okay, we don't say provide food, we will say provide energy-rich organic compound, which is basically sugar, glucose, food for the rhizobium. So like one chuchi his head, one chuchi his backside. So that's how they help each other, lor. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's it for today. I will end the live right over here. So whoever is being disrespectful, yeah, karma's going to hit you anyway. So good night, everybody. Wish you all the best. Hopefully, what I teach today tomorrow will come out lah. That's my wish for everybody. Okay. So yeah, I'll end this live already. So good night, everybody. Yes, of course, I'm reading your share. See one. Okay. So bye bye. Good night. See you guys. Hopefully one day. Bye bye. Good night. See you. Good luck, everybody. Hopefully, this helps you so much. For real. Okay. Can you see me tomorrow? Who are you? Don't see me. No, don't. Don't need to transfer me. Don't need. Okay. Bye bye. Good night. Bye bye. I will end it. 3, 2, 1. Bye.